morning, everybody. Welcome to Agent Power Huddle Mindset Monday. And I'm Susan Johnson, and I'm with Susan Johnson and Associates. Been hosting Power Huddle since its inception, about goodness, 4 years ago or so. Happy to be here on Mindset Monday, and I'm really glad you're joining in. Most people now, we give a lot of people that either join in on the call or they listen back because you can get us on podcast, YouTube, lots of ways to find us for Agent Power Huddle. And if you can't make an actual session of it, I encourage you to log on and listen because we have such talent throughout the country that brings such value to all of us, not just in our business, but in every aspect of our life. So please, keep logging on, tuning in and listen to these episodes. This week, this week is a big one. It's really, really important. And, that's what I try to do is find a mindset topic that's going to touch all of us, that's going to help all of us. And, with everything going on, some people might be listening to this podcast months from now. I want to start by this last week. It's been really heavy. With the killing of Irina Zarutska, the Colorado school shootings, and of course, the assassination of Charlie Kirk. It's hit a lot of us very, very hard. And so I first just want to simply say thank you. Thank you for coming on here. Thank you for joining us. And whether you're listening in your car or, or at the gym, maybe sitting with a cup of coffee, wherever you are, thank you for joining us. And today, this is a very important topic. Like I said, this week has been very heavy. For some of you, you may have stirred up some fear, or maybe uncertainty and some sadness and, or even anger. You've seen a lot of that through the spectrum of people's responses and how they're feeling right now. For others, it might just be a call to reflect on really what's important in our lives, what really matters, So regardless of where you stand, it's moments like these that we realize that, there's something bigger. There's something bigger than the news cycle. There's something bigger than politics, bigger than disagreements. And it's to remind us that we really need each other. And I hope this message touches you all today. I think we all need to hear it. We all need to get some quiet time and listen over and over again, and then evaluate our own lives as well. So today I want to spend this episode focusing on something that every one of us needs, like I just said, and that's how to build a bridge, how to build these bridges to unity and human connection. How to build bridges to unity and human connection. Well, this is going to be a perspective. It's going to be hopefully encouraging, and I'm going to give you some practical steps as well to help carry you through this time or any time you might need them, no matter what's going on in your life or in the world. All right. So let me begin by framing this. When we hear the word unity, it feels a little abstract. So what does it really mean? Well, unity doesn't necessarily mean that we all agree, we all believe the same thing. All right. It doesn't necessarily mean that. But unity is about choosing to value, each other's humanity. I mean, I'll say that again. Unity is really about choosing to value each other's humanity above our differences. It's about, remembering that behind every opinion, every action, every label, there's a person, there's a human being. And connection, connection doesn't require something big. It's nothing dramatic. It's basically looking in somebody's eyes. It's listening to them. It's connecting. How are you? And listening to their answer. You think these are just common things that happen all the time. Well, apparently not. And that's why I wanted this topic today to just kind of bring us and ground us a little bit here. You might want to send a text message to somebody and just check in on them. That's what connection does. Having coffee with a friend and laughing, connection. All right. Unity and connection together is the glue. That is the glue that holds us all together. So the world is feeling very unsteady. I'm sure you agree. Without unity and connection, we start to drift. We start to have some isolation and fear and division. And that's how division occurs. But with that unity and connection, we can actually feel stronger. We can actually be resilient, right? We can even be joyful. But even in those hard times, if you can really draw yourself back to these boundaries and these these really important bridges that connect us with unity and with humanity. I want you to think about something. When was the last time somebody actually showed kindness to you? Hello, Monica. Welcome this morning. Somebody showed kindness to you. When was the last time that happened? And, how did it impact your day? How did it really impact your day? How did it impact you? Here's the thing. Connection isn't just a nice idea, everybody. It's essential to our well-being. It really is. It's essential. Research shows that people that have strong social bonds are actually happier and they live longer. How about that? You know, uh, Human connections actually will lower our stress levels. It's going to reduce our anxiety and it's going to give us some resilience in these times and in these crises that we actually go through. Think about a time in your own life when maybe somebody reached out to you. Okay. Just think about that for a minute. Maybe a friend calling on, just checking on you. Maybe you had a hard day and somebody actually took a moment to reach out and said, "Hey, Monica, how you doing? How's your week this week? What's going on with you?" You know, um, didn't that stick with you? A quick story. One of the ones that I can think of many actually, but there's one that, I've got two of my kids that moved out of state and I'm very connected with my kids, much like probably you all are. And, no longer the days that I can pop in with my daughter and just have lunch, it's not that easy anymore. Now, I know they've got better opportunities where they are. I know they're thriving and doing great, wonderful things. And yet it's still hard on a mom to have that disconnection when they're gone. We stay connected through FaceTime and all that kind of thing. And I get there as much as I can. But my point being is my sister-in-law just made a call one day because go on a Facebook page and what do you see? All the good things. Oh, this is happening and this is happening and all these wonderful things are occurring for them. But what about my heart that doesn't have them here anymore? Right. My sister-in-law called out and said, just to see how I was doing, how I was holding up. I'm not going to go on too much on my stuff, but that's just an example of somebody caring just to take a quick moment and check in. That moment didn't change the world, but it changed my day. All right. And I bet you've all had moments like this. That's the power of the human connection. And it doesn't just comfort us in the moment, it actually strengthens us and it reminds us that we're not alone. It gives us courage to keep moving forward, doesn't it? Yet sometimes there's barriers, though. Sometimes there's barriers to connection. And let's be real, connection is so powerful. Why don't we just do it more often? Well, like everybody. Oh, I get busy, right? Oh, I'm so busy. You know what? I'll reach out to them later, tomorrow, another day, right? We get distracted. Our phones, social media, nonstop responsibilities, it's all around us. Sometimes the noise of the world makes us, we kind of just feel like retreating versus actually reaching out, retreating instead of reaching out. Well, the truth is we're all busy, aren't we? But, what about if you decided to say, wait a minute, pause, put the pause on for a second. Why don't we try to reach somebody today? Why don't we try to just make that one connection? It's a mindset shift, and that's what we're here for, right? We want to always keep everything right here in the mindset because the stronger your mindset is and the more grounded your mindset is, it's going to ripple out to everybody and everything in your life. These intentions, when I'm talking about, these connections, they're not huge. You don't have to do anything grandiose. Literally, like I said, it's about showing up. Connections are about showing up for somebody. It's making sure that you say, hey, you're not alone. You're not alone. Do you want to talk? How are you? We can't control all the noise, but I'll tell you what we can control. We can control how we show up in the middle of it all. Think about someone in your life that right now that may be feeling disconnected. Maybe they're feeling unseen right now. What's one small step you could actually do to reach out to them? If you're not sure some of the things you could do, I'm going to give you some practical steps right now. Here they are. What can you do to actually connect with somebody? Well, be present. Number one, be present with them. All the times maybe you're with your significant other, your spouse, your friend, or your kids or whomever. It's not, and you're texting or the phone's going off or you're distracted or you're turning away onto your computer screen or something like that, and somebody's talking to you. Stop right there and be present for them. Giving them your full attention, giving anybody your full attention when you're with them shows they matter. They actually matter. And it makes them feel like they matter, right? One of the biggest things I absolutely hate, and I'm sorry if you're wearing one right now, but people who know me know that I absolutely hate and I refuse to wear an Apple Watch. Absolutely refuse it. Why? Because I can't tell you how many times I'm with somebody. We might be having coffee or lunch or, with a client or something. And what are they doing? They're checking their watch every 5 seconds, it seems like, because text messages are coming in or, notifications are coming in or something, but they're always going like this. And to me, it feels like when I see somebody do that, that whatever our time is not important because they're so worried about what's going on there, but they're not present in the moment. Think about that if you wear that Apple iWatch. But no matter what, when you're there with somebody, your presence is really indicating to them that they matter to you. That's important, folks. It's really important. So number 2 is practicing compassion. Oh my God, we all need this. Practice compassion. Seek first to understand, right? When someone disagrees with you or sees the world differently, pause, choose curiosity instead of judgment, and ask yourself, wonder what they're going through. Wonder what they're going through. What might be going on in their lives? Compassion is the bridge to understanding. I could go on another quick story on that in my farm area where, I farm a couple thousand homes, and with a couple thousand homes, I get very few people that actually leave me a nasty message not to contact them. And I did have one this last week, and so when I responded immediately to the message that I got, the person, went on to say that the husband got in a car accident. Anyway, I don't want you to take our time right now, but they went into this long story of what's going on in their world. And all I did was just show them a little bit of compassion. I wasn't trying to say, hey, get my stuff. I'll keep delivering to you. But at the end of the conversation, just so you know where it goes, I literally would just listen to them and said, I'm so sorry that you've gone through all that. My prayers and, for your strength and healing for your husband. And I'll take your address. I won't deliver. And by the end of the conversation, she goes, oh, no, no, no. We'd love to see your things. It's just been a very hard day. You don't know where people are coming from. Practice some compassion. Compassion is the bridge to understanding. And that is what we're talking about today, is these bridges of unity, how we can create those bridges to unity and humanity, right? Number 3 is to listen deeply. Listen deeply. Most of us listen to reply. It's crazy, but it's true. Most of us listen to just reply, not to understand. Think about when you're listening to somebody, instead of just planning your response in your head, be present and listen to what they're saying before you jump in with your response to whatever they're saying. Just absorb it. You'd be shocked at how all of a sudden that's going to shift. That's going to shift that conversation to a whole new level. Why? Because now that connection, I do this gesture quite a bit. This connection is there because they know you're present with them and they know you're listening. Number 4 is check in. We just touched on this topic about checking in with somebody maybe you haven't connected with in a while. Check in on them. Or if you know somebody's story. And again, social media, remember, social media, I have this love-hate relationship with social media. It's kind of a necessary to our business. I love it for our family, especially being the distance and all that. But at the same time, it can present us that like, oh, everybody's lives are perfect but mine, No, we all go through our stuff. And it's when we can connect with somebody else, some of the things that are down. By the way, connection is also about celebrating other people's wins and successes. We don't do enough of that either, right? It's not just about when we're down, but what about when we're up? How about cheering somebody on? How about saying, you know what? Oh my God, I know you've been working for that for so good for you. Connection, right? How's that going to make them feel? How's it going to make you feel, by the way? It helps us all. It goes in both directions. Check in. That little check-in might mean more than you absolutely realize. Number 5 is, what about acts of kindness? Acts of kindness. Do some acts of kindness, right? Gosh, hold the door open. You know what? Smile at a cashier. Say thank you. Show some gratitude. We miss that, hopefully we don't. Probably most of you on Agent Power Huddle don't because we practice this. This isn't something we talk about one day. This is something that's in our thread of our being and that's why we're here. That's why we show up. But it still helps us talk about it and have these little points and remember, maybe puts a little more purpose in what we're going to do and how we're going to act today. Take that one extra step, that one extra act of kindness, because these are the seeds that grow. These are the seeds that grow the compassion. These are the seeds that grow the unity and show us humanity, right? There's something I did years ago. And a lot of you may do it too. I've noticed more people saying it to me. It's really common when somebody says, well, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. I appreciate it. They are some showing gratitude, aren't they? Thank you. I appreciate it. I don't know. Years ago, I switched one word. I don't say thank you. I appreciate it anymore. My gratitude always shows up as thank you. I appreciate you. Think about that for a minute. The shift of just saying I appreciate it to I appreciate you. How does that make somebody feel? Right? People will forget the words that you sound. This is proven, and it's also a quote, but people do forget the words that you say, but they'll never forget how you made them feel. They'll never forget how you made them feel. And just shifting one word like that, they might not remember that you said, I appreciate you, but they're going to remember how you made them feel appreciated, right? All right. Number 6 is create some shared moments. Well, you know what? Unity grows in experiences. Unity grows in shared experience. Have dinner together as a family. Take walks with your significant other or your friend. Go have coffee with somebody. Agents will call me. Sometimes they'll just if they're struggling in their business, they may be doing well, but they want to go somewhere else with their business. They'll just call me to go have lunch with them or coffee. I always take those meetings because I'm like, you know what? We can learn from each other. They're not just going to learn from me. Trust me, I'm going to learn from them too, because we all have different things that we do. These are connections. These are shared moments that we can continue to build and to grow the connections in our lives. The truth is connection doesn't require perfection either. It just requires some intention. Are you really too busy to go meet with somebody for an hour to have coffee? Come on. Are you? No, it's not important enough. If you're not doing it, it's just not important. You're not making it a priority to make those connections. So look at your own life and say, am I making the connections in my life that creates the unity? Am I leading in that way? Am I showing up in that way? Every time we choose to connect, we're building unity in a world, oh my gosh, that so desperately needs it. Maybe you need it. That's another thing. There are times, again, we can't not all be up all the time. Not one of us are always flying on cloud 9 all the time. Just doesn't happen that way. We all have stuff, right? Maybe you need more connection. So I want to have you think about this. Where in your life do you feel most connected? Is it with your family? Is there friends? Is there somebody coworkers, your community? Is there something that you need to do right now? Because maybe, like I said, this has been a tough week. This has been a very heavy week. And, there'll be more. There's always things that go on. Like I said, think about how you can lean in. Look at my shoulder. If you're watching me, lean in. I show that often. Lean into more connection with intentionality. Maybe you need that support and that connection yourself. There's something like I like to call, it's called a ripple effect. I'm sure you've heard of that too. You throw a stone in water and you see the ripples that go out. Well, one of the most beautiful things about the connection is the ripples. Think about it this way. When someone shows you kindness, all right, it makes you want to pass it on, doesn't it? When somebody wants to take some time to listen to you, you then will turn and you'll listen to somebody else because it's the ripple effect. It inspires you to listen more deeply to others. Unity spreads in that same way, everybody. It really does. Small actions multiplied over and over again, millions. It creates waves, the ripple effect, right? You may never even know how far your ripple actually travels. It's like this Agent Power Huddle. I'm hope and pray that people hear it over and over again, years upon years. It goes on to podcast, it goes on to YouTube, and maybe somebody will listen to it and they'll share it with a friend. It's a ripple effect. This is what we really need. We all need in our lives every day. The kindness that you show somebody is going to lift them up and it's going to carry on stronger and stronger. You may not see it now, you may never see it, but trust me, that ripple effect, it's real. It's a mindset shift, isn't it? Sometimes we actually even fall into the trap of, well, I can't change the world. This is so big. There's so much going on that I'm just one person. What can I possibly do? Well, guess what? Shift and change that mindset. Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. Mindset is really about, changing one person at a time, impacting somebody else, and helping and being kind, like we've been talking about. You can change the atmosphere in your home. You can change the atmosphere in a tense moment, maybe. Something's going on. You can change that atmosphere. You can make somebody else feel valued. How about that? You can make somebody else feel valued. Never underestimate the impact of one person showing up with compassion. Unity isn't built in the headlines, everybody. It's not built in the headlines. It's built in the everyday. It's built in the ordinary moments where, guess what? We choose to actually care. We choose to care. That's it. How do we forget that? What's one simple act of compassion or presence that you can commit to every single day? Great question, isn't it? Here's my challenge for you this week, everybody, that you look for one opportunity. Look for many, actually, but okay, let's start with one. It's the ripple. One opportunity that you can build a connection. All right. It could be reaching out to somebody maybe you haven't spoke to for a while. It could be giving somebody your full attention, and you're maybe one of the ones that are on your phone or you're at that iWatch, right? Give them your full attention without the distraction. It could be showing kindness to a stranger, whatever you choose, because unity isn't about agreeing on everything. It's not about agreeing on everything. Nobody's going to agree with every little thing you say or every little thing you believe, and you're not with somebody else either. That's just life. It's honoring. So it's honoring our shared humanity. And human connection is the anchor. It's the anchor that keeps us grounded in this world when there's a lot of chaos going on. So let's be intentional this week. Let's choose kindness and let's choose connection. Let's remember that together we're stronger. Together we're stronger. Thank you for joining me this week on Agent Power Huddle, everybody. And I hope you found this to be profound for your week. I hope you listen to it. I hope you share it and the ripple goes on. And that we all get through this together and we can understand that we can build bridges to unity and humanity, right? We can build those bridges. Go make it a great week. And I'm happy I could be here with you today on Agent Power Huddle.
If you'd like more information or to get connected to the Agent Power Huddle, join our free Facebook group. This call was designed for the agents in our EXP organization, but open to any agent from any brokerage. If you're a guest and you're interested in learning more about EXP or our specific resources within the Agent Collective, reach out to the person who invited you to this call to get more info. Produced by the Agent Collective Media Network.